Hey everypone, this is Digibrony here, and I wanted to do a unscripted sort of fun video in which I'm going to deconstruct the videos and comments of the Kimi Sparkle videos by Sherklop Pones. Particularly, I think they're done entirely by Jenny Nicholson, one of the two members of the group. These videos I find quite fascinating because I think they're an exercise in showing how context can radically differ between different people watching the same work. I'm a big fan of the idea that context sort of is everything. If you're writing a review or if you're just talking about your opinion of something, I think it's very important to recognize your personal context in dealing with the work. A lot of people don't think that. A lot of people think that works should be judged without context, and that's total bullshit because the context of who you are, what you are bringing to the video, your knowledge, your experiences, your biases are innately going to affect what you're experiencing. And so with the Kimi Sparkle videos, what's interesting for me is that I kind of feel like I have more context than anyone, possibly even more context than the ones making the video, to appreciate not only the video itself, but the comments and the reactions to the video, which I find completely fascinating. What Kimi Sparkle is a parody of the analysis community that basically I started. I'm not the first person who ever did reviews of My Little Pony. I didn't even really start the style that I use, though I was the first one to have the image completely in the top left corner of the screen and a pony off to the right looking at it, and pretty much everyone copied that style after me, and it became a big deal. This is not actually the first parody of the analysis people. There was one that was by Saberspark that is an unlisted video on his channel that he just sort of showed to a few friends. Very lazy sort of parody of the style, just to, thrown together and shown to some friends kind of thing. There was a parody by Hackamore, which is Jeff Burgess's sort of alter ego. His is pretty well made. He had his OC. It's supposed to be analyzing why musicians are more popular than him or something, and he's just like smoking pot in his room and his mom's knocking on the door. It's a clever little funny video. It's not really a parody of the analysis community so much as just a funny video that happens to be in that style. And then we have Kimi Sparkle, the latest parody of the thing. And Jenny actually came to me before she made this video, like asking, hey, I'm going to do one of these. If I put the videos in the top left corner, is that going to keep them from getting content blocked? Because Friendship is Witchcraft had a bunch of problems with content ID blocks where a bunch of videos got removed. So she wanted advice on it. So I already knew this was coming. And I helped her to come up with ideas. She was like, what are some of the worst elements of analysis people, because she knew I'd seen a million fucking analysis videos. And so I told her some of the stuff that I thought was really bad, and then linked her to the MLP analysis subreddit as well, so that she could watch some videos and get some ideas of what might be doable to really capture this style. And I can tell she did some of her research to really get the voice of some of these reviewers. Now, a lot of people have said that they think these are really mean-spirited parody videos, and I don't really agree. I don't know that they're mean-spirited so much as frustrated a little bit, or like endearing, lovingly. How do I explain this? Because I've met Sherklop. I've met both of them, Jenny Nicholson and Griffin Lewis. I met them at BronyCon. I've talked to them on Skype, and they definitely don't hate the Brony community, and they don't hate their fans. They like that people are into their stuff. They enjoy being a part of this thing, but they also kind of look at it and they see all the flaws and the people who are, not as intelligent or more obnoxious. And I don't think it's so much that they're angry at them or that they want to make fun of them, so much as laughing with them, not at them. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be putting words in their mouths. I don't really know how they feel about it, but I've never gotten the impression that this is meant to be a malicious parody so much as a poking fun of. But that's really up to the person. Everyone has their own ideas of what is good or bad in comedy, which of course brings us to the first layer of context. How do you feel about the video? And that's going to affect your judgment of the video. And we'll get into that more when we start reading the comments. So, for starters, even getting the jokes in the Kimi Sparkle video is a matter of how much context do you have for the jokes themselves? Even if you have seen a lot of analysis videos and you get exactly what she's parodying, then, will you appreciate different kind of jokes? See, I laugh right here because top 5 in episodes are all completely on different parts of the screen for no reason, and it's totally obnoxious. And, like, that's funny to me, just, oh god, the typography, how could it ever be, like, no, not even the worst reviewer could do it that bad, right? But then you kind of think maybe they would. She starts talking about, how her first episode, idea, this is a top 4, a season 4 wish list, which there are a million of. I've seen countless ones of these. Dr. Wolf did something like 7 just himself. He did like 7 videos of what he wanted out of season 4. So this is definitely something a lot of analysis videos have been made of, if you can really call them analysis. And her first one is Tokyo Travels. So immediately she's outing herself as like this sort of anime fangirl otaku sort of character who was parodied in Friendship is Witchcraft episode 6, Lunar Slander, where they did this whole send-up of nerdy otaku girls in the form of Luna, and Twilight as like fanfic writers who wear Rurouni Kenshin cosplays. And she talks about how they're going to like have every aspect of Japanese culture, but then it's all the cliche things that anime fans care about. And this happens. I've met countless anime fans who legitimately believe that Japanese culture is all about anime. Like, they don't really fathom that anime is a niche thing in Japan. Like, a lot of people don't get that. And so, there's a good reason for this joke. And then Fallout Equestria, there's a lot of people who make videos about how they want fanfics to be made into episodes of the show. I've gotten a lot of comments about people wanting fanfics to be made into episodes of the show. And of course, if you know about Fallout Equestria, you know that it's fucking insanely long. It's just this epic length, endless fanfiction, and she's like, they should make it at least a 2-parter, but seeing how they did with Magical Mystery Cure, they could probably get away with it in 1 episode. And it's like, how long is Fallout Equestria? It's something like 20 books long. Like, I think they made a written version of it that's 20 books long, so yeah. Then there's the section called Rarity Leaves Forever, where it's clearly supposed to be a personal anecdote, like where she relates to Rainbow Dash, and then she's putting a friend of hers who betrayed her in her shoes. So this is making fun of the idea that the person making the video is socially awkward, and she just very resentful, because a lot of people who are socially awkward are very resentful of like the people they see as the popular ones, or the people who rejected them before. And there's a lot of jokes about that in Friendship is Witchcraft. So, this is very much the same brand of humor that Friendship is Witchcraft brings to the table. This one is about, she tries to shoehorn her favorite character into the main plot again, get her to become one of the main 6 instead of Rarity, which is, again, another thing a lot of people want. What's the last one? Soccer team. She's just like, I want them to all form a soccer team. I've never really seen anyone ask for that in an analysis video, but it's actually kind of like the most likely episode to happen. Like, they just, let's play soccer. Like, kind of makes sense in a way. I think that might be the joke. But anyway, you get the point. There's a big variety to the humor, what kind of jokes you're getting out of each episode. The format of the video itself is interesting to me because it's farcical even in the video, because it's not really a super bad analysis video. Because on the one hand, the points she's making are obviously daft. And the character she's putting on is supposed to be this socially awkward, sort of making fun of, the worst aspects of the personalities of bronies. But the video is incredibly well put together. It's paced perfectly. She has perfect microphone quality. There's no background. Because I even told her, I was like, well, if you really want to make it bad, you gotta do like the horrible audio and the horrible video quality. And she's like, no, I'm gonna keep it up to quality. It's just gonna be about the personality. So yeah, the audio's great. The editing is perfectly spot on. There's a really great background with all the sparkles and everything that makes it visually interesting. And it's interesting with her OC because she's designed in a way that she's obviously supposed to be ugly because the colors all clash, but at the same time, she picks colors that pop off the screen. So it's very vibrant and eye-grabbing, even though it's, not technically well designed, but she picks a good hair color, I mean, not hair color, good hairstyle, interesting colors that pop off the screen, which most OCs are not even this good. Most of them will be like dark navy blue on like a green background, and it just looks horrible, you know? So it's interesting that visually and audio wise, this is so, like, even though it's Pony Creator, it's much better than what you'd expect from Pony Creator. She went all out making the faces look cute and stuff. So yeah, presentation-wise, the video is really good, so you really just focus on the farcical elements of the dialogue, which a lot of people don't notice. Like, for me, it would have stood out. If I had watched this, even if it wasn't by Sherclop Pones, I would have known it was a joke, just on the basis of the production values being way too high. Like, no one who makes an analysis video with points this ridiculous would have production that good. And of course the points are so over the top, who could really believe it, right? Well, that's where we get into the comments, and this is where it really gets fascinating, because remember, I came into it with so much context, but what happens when you look at people who have different levels of context? You'll see as we go through here just the completely different kinds of reactions people have. First comment is like, you forgot one where everyone becomes an alicorn and Pinkie Pie becomes mad with power and breaks the fourth wall, resulting in a two-parter where humans go to war with alicorn ponies. This one clearly gets that it's a joke. You know, there's a lot of humor in it, so it's just like, all right, I'm making up my own things for season 4 to go into this. I hate to sound like a pompous asshole, but I don't think most people here actually get most of the satire in this video. It's a pitch-perfect parody of the brony community. Now this guy I'm kind of glad he starts off with, I hate to sound like a pompous asshole, because a lot of people will. As you go through here, you'll find that a lot of people just totally shame others for falling for the joke. Like, haha, how could you not realize this is on Sherclop's account? And it's kind of like, you don't have to be a dick about it. Like, not everyone gets the joke, not everyone's in on it, but you'll see how quickly someone who has more context will just utterly shame someone with less context. There were several points during this video when I wanted to get up and pound my head against the wall. When I couldn't, I realized that Kimi's been slowly sapping my life energy. I'm dedicating this comment to from where I've collapsed on the floor, send help. This is one of those where you have no idea if he has context or not. He's either playing into it perfectly or not. A lot of these ideas are just horrid, but going off of Kimi's idea that Rarity going away forever, why don't we have the cast split up and form a new cast in the new season starring the background main 6 with cameos from the main 6 in the new season? Again, not sure if joke or not. I'm going to skip through some of these. I hadn't seen some of them before. I want to get to the ones that I really had in mind. I may just hurt this girl, not the voice actor because she may not be an idiot, but the OC's head off. God, did she just shame Rarity in Magical Mystery Cure and How to Train Your Dragon, Oh My Celestia? This is a particularly confusing comment because it seems like she's buying into the video as real, but not the voice actor? So I guess she thinks that maybe the pony and the voice actor are different people? Like the writer and voice are different? I don't know. Maybe she's just understanding it's a farce but wants to beat up the pony anyway. You are not funny. Your parody of Analyst is not comical but rather sadistic mocking. And please, for the love of God, cut it with the obviously fake opinion. They're not funny. The funny thing about some of these is when you've got people who are really like, oh, you're not funny, stop making the video, and it's surrounded by people who are like, this is hilarious. And it's like, guy, clearly some people are into it, so calm down. Here we have someone who seems to realize it's a parody at some point, so he's like totally, oh, I can't believe you're coming up with each of these things, and then, oh wait, this is a parody? I totally didn't realize that, because even though I hate to admit it, there are some people in the brony community who are actually that stupid. Come for the funny Sherclop parody video, stay for the equally funny comments from people below who don't realize the satire. Nice work, you two evil, evil people. I know, right? It's like the whole thing was a brilliant social experiment. Which is where I'm coming from with it. You are not the only Pegasister reviewer. Why do you hate Rarity? Did you not see Magic Duel? And this is a kids show, so they probably won't show a boulder hit a train and they won't say any pony died. Someone who has completely bought into the farce. I get angry at the people who see this as think it's serious. It means they haven't seen Friendship is Witchcraft and its glory. I hate your name, voice, OC, and ideas. Like seriously, Rarity goes away forever in the fucking Japanese episode? Never make another episode ever. There's quite a few of these. This one says my favorite Pegasister is Ink Rose, referring to Ink Rose being another Pegasister reviewer. Now if this person had read the comments on the first Kimi Sparkle video, they'd see that Ink Rose actually commented on it and enjoyed the video, because she realized it was a parody. Again, more context. Here we have someone who goes through extensively screaming objection at each of the times when the person seems to be wrong. The point and you. YouTube is amazing because I can never tell if someone makes comments like this as part of the joke or totally missed the point and is absolutely serious. He's totally joking. I am one of the 488 likes this video has. Joking except that main 6 versus Monstars in basketball. I need to see that. So again, we have a person who apparently was joking, looks serious, you can't really tell. Then this person replies, smugly pointing out that they've missed the point, only for them to come around again and say, oh no, I was with the point. Now, what's funny about this is that it really reminds me of 4chan, because if you ever read a 4chan thread, you can never tell who's being serious and who's fucking with people. And a lot of people say, oh, you know, it's not all trolling or baiting, but a lot of it, you really do go into 4chan threads sometimes intending to create chaos, where it's like you can clearly just say some shit and people will go crazy about it, and then you could even just step out of the thread, and you'll see some people play into it as if they don't get it. Like, I could go onto a thread and be like, Rarity is shit pony or something, and then someone could respond, and I could give some epic response about why Rarity is shit pony, and people would be like, oh my god, you're a fucking idiot, but I am playing a character, sort of. And so this is what 4chan would look like if everyone had names and they could easily clarify their context, but you can't do that there, so it's like pulling the veil back on a 4chan thread. This one is great. I was expecting an episode where they introduced the new character Kimi Sparkle, who then gets shipped with all the main 6 except Rarity and becomes an all-powerful alicorn. Guess I'll have to wait until season 5. This comment is in reference to the Bad Pony OC's website, where almost every OC featured there is an alicorn who is a total Mary Sue. They always have all the power, they have all these connections, they marry everyone in the story and have kids by them and blah blah blah. There's always these like extensive their character is the greatest thing ever kind of stories. So that's what he's making reference to. Here we have someone, putting aside the satire, expecting Trixie to come back isn't very far-fetched, though the aforementioned scenario is. I say this because her character doesn't seem finished with yet. That and the comic seems to hint with her saying every pony deserves a second chance, even a third chance. Who knows, maybe we'll see her in an episode again. So this is someone who appreciates that it's a satire, but is actually giving a legitimate response to the points in the video, which is interesting in its own right. Then we have A&Y Pony, who... he says, I get it, you're emulating the worst and most annoying features of wannabe MLP video producers for the purpose of parody or satire, but the end product is just a video featuring the worst and most annoying features of horrible videos I would not want to watch to begin with. The only time I at least get a smirk out of me has been the Tokyo Hotel gag, but probably only because I am German. The difference is you guys are not serious about the ridiculousness you present, and you thanks to the audience you built up with previous projects, your video gets watched, even though in the end it's just 4.5 minutes of an annoying pony creator pony talking nonsense. Well, what do you call stuff that's intentionally shitty because you are ironic? Oh right, congrats for earning the MLP hipster achievement. So A&Y Pony, for those who don't know, has always had a problem with Friendship is Witchcraft. Less because, I mean, he doesn't like or get the humor in the series, and he's always disliked it, but what bothers him the most about it is the fans, because he thinks that the fans don't really get the humor, but just follow along because they know it's cool. Like, everyone says that it's funny, so they think it's funny. And it's interesting to note that he is right in some ways, where a lot of the deeper jokes in the series go over a lot of people's heads, and a lot of people just kind of like the simple stuff, like Sweetie Bot. And if you watch panels with Friendship is Witchcraft, they talk about this. At the BronyCon Friendship is Witchcraft panel, Griffin went at length talking about, you know, a lot of people who are fans of the series, they just really like Sweetie Bot, and they don't really care about some of the early episodes. A lot of people have favorite and least favorite episodes and jokes they totally hate, and it's super divisive even among people who like the videos. So it's interesting to see what jokes will resonate with what people, and he talks at length about how he'll often ask people which parts they found funny, and it'll be completely different from person to person because there's such a huge variety of styles of humor in Friendship is Witchcraft. So A&Y is kind of tapping into something here, even though he's coming at it in a totally cynical way and sort of hating on Sherklop Pones for doing this, even though it's funny that he would do that when they aren't really arrogant about their series. So it's hard to see where he's coming from. Like, he's mad at the fans, but not really at the creators, and even then, he's just mad at the fans who don't get it, but are still fans. I don't know. He's mad for no real reason. And I talked to him about that afterwards, and I told him that, like, the real comedy of the Kimi Sparkle videos is the different reactions people have to it, and, like, the sort of meta enjoyment of it. Then we get to my comments, which I love. So, I'm just going to read them outright. Ordinarily, I agree with the majority of the points that Kimi Sparkle brings up in her videos, but this video, there was one point which I really couldn't agree with, and I feel the need to point it out. One of the suggestions for a Season 4 episode just doesn't seem right, and the one which I'm talking about is the one where Kimi suggests that there should be an episode dedicated to the main six forming a soccer team. Now, those first two sentences you may have noticed sound extremely clumsy for me. That's because I purposefully used as many words as humanly possible in those sentences, because I can't stand that. I'm a big fan of brevity, so I try to cut my sentences down to eliminate as many erroneous words as possible. So if this was written by me in a normal style, I'd say, the only suggestion that really bothered me is the soccer team episode, and that would have been it, but I stretch it out to this huge thing because I've seen a lot of videos that are like that, where they keep redundantly saying the same thing in the sentence, often because they're unscripted like I am now, and I'm being redundant. And of course I start off by saying that ordinarily I agree with the majority of the points, because a lot of people do that. Well, they'll comment on my video and they'll say, I agree with everything else you've said except for this one point that you bring up in this video, so I'm sort of referencing that element of my own comments. While I can see where Kimi is coming from in suggesting the possibility of making an episode about the main six forming a soccer team, I think that this episode concept isn't really well thought out and probably shouldn't be used in the show. Again, I'm being redundant, and the reason I chose the soccer team one is because it's such an innocuous episode, where it's like, if I was complaining about the rarity one, that would seem obvious, like, of course that's one you don't want to see, but then I picked the one that's, like, not really confrontational at all. For starters, something that not a lot of people know is that soccer is not actually called soccer except in America because Americans are stupid, except a few of them, no offense. This is making fun of YouTube commenters who are always shaming America even though they're from there, people who constantly think that all their peers are stupid, and of course people who think that like these misguided people who think that soccer is only called that in America. It's actually called that in more of the world than it is called football, interestingly enough. And the rest of the world is called football, even though Americans made their own game called football, which is stupid because they play the game with their hands. This is in reference to one time someone left a comment on my blog where I had used the phrase American football, and they corrected me and said, don't you mean USian handball? Because they were from a South American country that was big on soccer, and they call it football, so because that's part of South America, they were offended both that I called it America and that I called it football. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is actually a Canadian cartoon. A lot of people seem to forget this, and therefore they would not call the game soccer, but would instead refer to it as football. Again, this is a farce. Even though the show is made in Canada animation-wise, the scripts are written by people in LA. There also has not been any times on My Little Pony Friendship is Magic where they played sports. The closest thing there was in My Little Pony Friendship is Magic episode 13, Fall Weather Friends. Now, you'll notice I keep spelling out My Little Pony's Friendship is Magic just to be obnoxious. But horseshoes is an old sport that no one plays anymore, so it fits into the fact that My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is set in the 1920s, another thing a lot of people seem to forget. This is me taking my headcanon as canon. They would not play a more modern sport like football, soccer, on the show because it would be inappropriate for that time period. I hope that you will take these facts into consideration and possibly revise this episode and re-upload it with more information, or possibly make a response video. Please cite this comment if you do the latter. Don't take credit for an idea you didn't come up with. Those last two sentences, again, parodies of YouTube comments. So someone says, not sure if serious. Sherklop plays into it. You might not have meant it this way, but your comment comes across as what is called dream shaming and legally counts as harassment. Then I go on, and this time I play into the whole Rarity Leaves Forever, saying that I relate to it and stuff, and I talk about how if they write a script for it, they should send it to me so that we can get voice actresses like Eiley Monty, Noacking, and Jenny Nicholson, which of course is the person who made the video, to try and do a fan dub of that episode. Maybe we could even get Black Griffin to animate it, and he can collab with Forest Rain to do the music. It would be way better than Double Rain Boom, which of course the fandom hates, and maybe even as good as Snowdrop, which the fandom loves. Anyway, I'll leave you alone now. Sorry for the very long comments. I do hope you'll consider, though, and I also wrote a fanfic about Rainbow Dash fighting against Raditz from Dragon Ball Z that I think you might enjoy a lot. And yes, I get a lot of comments where people offer me to read fanfictions for shows that they just assume I care about, when the reality is I don't. I say, I'm so sorry, I did not intend to offend you. If you read my second comment, talk about the things in your video. I want to be your friend, so I hope I don't offend you. Oh god, please don't hate me. I can't tell if you can get my responses or not because the new Google Plus commenting system is so confusing. So this is, of course, because there's tons of people keep commenting about the new Google Plus comment system, so I wanted to parody that as well. Then there's people responding, some playing into it. Stop bullying Sureclop. It's called soccer, you Eurocentric jerk. It really isn't. It's called football. American football is a completely different thing, and it came after actual football, so yeah, you get the point. Excuse me, Digi, but I have to tear a hole into your argument. You see, traditional football, that being the game with a ball that moves at one's feet, was invented before the 1920s. In fact, football is a rather ancient sport. The earliest documented mention of the word football dates back to 1409, and the oldest football competition, the FA Cup, started in 1871. So it would be entirely reasonable that ponies would be familiar with such a sport if it was set in the 1920s, and as such your argument has crumbled like a cookie in a tumble dryer during an earthquake. These people have all played it straight. They all clearly get that it's a parody and it's hilarious. I don't know what to do with these. I mean, yeah, this is a satire, but it's really uncomfortable satire where you know some of the people watching it will be agreeing rather than understanding that it's a fandom poking fun at itself. Then we have Drowning in Footwear, who I led over here. He says, the brony thing has officially reached critical mass. Videos making fun of them are becoming more popular than the videos they're parodying, and the circle jerk is so out of control that most can't even tell the difference anymore. Stop the ride, I want to get off. To which someone replies, 970 views and 20k views for the other video equals more popular than 100k views. Also, most people can't tell the difference. Speak for yourself, please. Get off the ride and never come back. So, there's just so much that I don't know how to deal with in this comment. First of all, the only person who gets plus 100k views is like me, Ink Rose, and Brony Curious, and maybe Anthony. Most people are not getting this kind of stats, and this just shows that he doesn't know how many analysis videos are out there, because most of them have under 1,000 views or under 5,000 views. Just the general level of anger towards Drowning in Footwear for no reason, who of course I know to be his whole thing is that he's sort of cynical and, jerkish, and I'm the one who linked him to this video and explained to him like what I was doing in it, so yeah. My context helps me to appreciate his comment again. Here's someone who, well, I don't have a 5 wish, but I do have a few wishes I want to come true. One, I want a time travel in which Twilight in the past and finding herself have in the battle between the two princesses versus Discord. The grammar here is really confusing, but the general point is that this person took the video as an opportunity to actually share their own ideas of what should happen in Season 4. This person is pointing out, the third picture is by the music for the Japanese episode Tokyo Hotel, not a J-pop group, it's a teen band from Germany. No shit, Sherlock, watch the video again and turn on the sarcasm and irony filter, F10 in Half-Life mods. I don't know, I just got the vid sent by a friend. She said it was sarcasm. Well, if she knew, it's okay. So here we see again someone who clearly didn't have context, seems to possibly be German, judging by the grammar, and it's just sort of like, what the hell? Tokyo Hotel is German. You seem to have made a mistake. And this person completely shames them for their lack of context here. And, again, it's like people feel like because they do get the joke, they can just, like, utterly bash on anyone who doesn't get it, like they're just completely retarded. I like the Fallout Equestria idea, but I think after we saw how much they could fit into one episode of Magical Mystery Cure, that they should really just use the first half episode to tell the story of Fallout Equestria, then after commercials they can run a musical of My Little Dashie. I can't tell if this person is or isn't being serious about wanting a Fallout Equestria video, but there are a number of comments like this where people are saying that they're like, oh yeah, Fallout Equestria, I'd love to see that animated, because again, there was a reason she put it in the video. It is a really popular idea. Here's one that's another one that you can't tell where they're going with it. This is really stupid. Why are you making these idiotic videos? They're never going to happen except Trixie returning, and going into detail about them is ridiculous and pointless. You know why there are no Pegasus reviewers? Because this one is showing that only bronies are capable of having imaginative ideas about the show and actually know how to express actual theories for future episodes. Word of advice, keep this bitch from being in any more videos and your channel will be 1,000 times more successful. You're welcome. So here we have a rampantly sexist comment that seems to be taking it seriously, borderline scary. LOL wow, not sure if serious or completely missed the entire point of the Kimi Sparkle series. She calls Dragon's Riders of Berk racist. Don't analyze if she's going to bitch about other shows. Not sure where he's coming from. What are you trying to say? That Pegasisters are less imaginative and intelligent than bronies just because they're female? Someone who's, mad about the sexism in that one, which is, again, quite worrying. Number 5, whatever. Number 4, lol what? Number 3, oh fuck no, I will eat your soul, you stupid bitch. I know you didn't say that shit about Rarity. Dislike, rage quit. Seems serious? Here's one where we have some legitimate concerns again. The autism level is off the charts. Great job. Oh, and you forgot about referencing EQG in one of the episodes. You know, you have to appeal to bronies' high expectations. The response is, what do you mean the autism level? Are you saying autistic equals stupid? So this is interesting because this person recognizes the parody, thinks it's a good parody, but they're shaming the people who it's parodying because they're like trying to say that autism is absolutely negative and that the people who make these videos are autistic, and basically implying that they're stupid. So this person's concerned about that, which is another good concern. I have a feeling Sherclop just wanted to see the community burn with this one. Therefore, I'm now going to refer to them as Discord, since they seem to be so keen on releasing videos like this and then just sitting back to watch the chaos ensue. Someone gets it. Here towards the bottom, we have another comment by me. This one's, I went onto my DigiBrony After Dark account, and I posted one of these stupid fucking ASCII tanks with give us the old YouTube comment system now, copy paste all over YouTube, attack. I hate these things because everyone bitches about the new comment system, but they do it on the comments of people's videos, which is not helpful in any way. It's just really obnoxious for the people who make the videos because they then have to see the comments. So of course I leave it because I'm trying to be a dick and, leave farcical comments. So the responses I get are perfect. It's great that you see this problem, but don't pollute people's videos. Someone gives me a petition for the ASCII, or for the it says, do something that isn't stupid, which I would argue these petitions aren't going to do anything anyway. Exactly. I did like how weird this video is. So what's funny is, these guys' replies are on point, I totally agree, but they don't realize that I'm doing it as a joke. It's meta, So again, there's so much levels of farce here that it's just like you can't tell who's being serious and who's not. Tommy Oliver. So this is Brony Curious, Tommy Oliver. And I told him he needs to get into this comment section because I showed him my comments. I was like, you got to get in there. So he says, suggesting that Rarity be killed off and replaced by Trixie as the element of generosity not only proves your poor grasp of the intricate underlying thematic concepts at play in the characterization in MLP, but a deeply rooted personal bias in this video that make me question your integrity as an analyst. You will be hearing from me. So of course he's coming at it from this totally smug, superior, sort of like pretentious high horse perspective, and you will be hearing from me is him signaling that he's going to make a response video, which he is planning on doing. And he said he's going to completely act like it's not a parody. So then I do a parody of a comment that me and him both get a lot, where I say, OMG, I didn't expect to see you on this video. You're my favorite of the MLP analyzers. I'll be looking forward to your response video. Me and him get this anytime we respond on another video, someone comments, oh my god, it's you. And I almost put, I like you even more than Digi, because he gets that one a lot. Anytime it's a video that people don't think I know about or something, they'll see him and they'll say, oh my god, you're my favorite, I like you more than Digi. And I'm always like, I'm right here, This video was just bad. Oh wait, now I get it. This is Sherlock Pones. Being a parody is no excuse. So then here's a response to Tom's, it says, this comment, so full of anger and seriousness, gratuitous overuse of pretentious words, to sound insightful, all topped with a pseudo-threatening, you will be hearing from me. I want to laugh, but it's just too depressing. So this person completely analyzes exactly what he's doing on purpose, but doesn't realize he's doing it on purpose. He's not being pretentious, he's being thorough. As English permits, imagine if big-name authors toned down their use of English because they were afraid they would sound pretentious. So he's actually defending what Brony Curious is doing to sound pretentious. And then this response, mentioning intricate underlying thematic concepts at play in My Little Pony is pretty pretentious in my opinion, because let's be honest, My Little Pony FIM isn't deep or subtle. It's a straightforward show. There aren't these hidden deep concepts or themes that beg for closer inspection like a novel in high school English. This is just my opinion, but I really don't see the point of MLP reviewers. Yeah, the show's writing is good and the characters are great, but it's not this brilliantly written, intricate, themed gem that deserves scrutiny. Again, this discussion would completely be valid if not for the fact that Brony Curious is doing a farce with his own comment. So you see, this is all just fascinating, and I'm not making this to make fun of anyone. Like, I'm not looking down on these people. I just think it's really entertaining to me because I have so much context to appreciate where all this is coming from. You know, there's so many comments on here where I don't have context, and I'm sitting there questioning, like, is this guy serious or is this guy fucking with us, you know? And you just can't know without knowing the behind the scenes like I've had for some of these. So to me, this is all just this massively intriguing social experiment. And I think I just spent, like, how much time did I spend talking about this shit? 45 minutes. I'm probably gonna have to cut a lot of it out, so anyway, that's all. See you later, and thanks to Sherclap Pones for giving me such an entertaining thing to waste my afternoon on.